Welcome to Muskegon Rotary. My name is Jenny Sprague, and I have the pleasure of serving as your president for this Rotary year. Our program today is being presented by the Muskegon Housing Commission, and we're going to start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance and a reflection from Meredith Smiley. And there'll be something new. I'm giving you my economics and community development moment after, so you'll have a shorter time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Meredith Smiley will give us our reflection.
Good afternoon. To celebrate this year's World Polio Day, supporters from over 30 countries across the region of the world joined the Make Polio History campaign to tell global partners, donors, and polio-affected country governments that eradication is possible and urgently needed now. The Global Polio Eradication Initiative has the knowledge and tools to end polio for good, but we cannot do it alone. Throughout the campaign, polio champions around the world have built a long list of some of the greatest wins for humanity, from the creation of the first vaccine to the harnessing of electricity, and shared why polio eradication can and must be added to this list. We know that eradicating polio is not easy, but making history never is. The polio eradication effort from global partners to country governments to local frontline health workers, we have a long history of innovating and adapting in the face of adversity. Global polio initiatives partners well with the WHO leadership, Eastern Mediterranean and African regional offices, to UNICEF teams in Sudan and Ethiopia, and they also partner with the Rotary International, which has been there since the beginning. We are proud to share, and we will continue to advocate until the bitter end and polio is eradicated globally. Today, there are proven strategies and new tools to deliver vaccines to the highest risk areas for polio, which are also some of the world's most challenging and hard to reach settings. Promising trends in polio-affected countries that have been seen in other places are now polio-free suggest that the virus is truly on its last leg. With continued attention and support from donors, partners, and affected country governments, polio can be eradicated. It will take all of us together, but together we can make history again and end polio for good. So bow your heads with me. Join me in a moment of reflection and thanks with these words. With our friends beside us and no person beneath us, with the bonds of Rotary between us and our worries behind us, with our goals before us and no task beyond us, with a thirst for knowledge and a dream of a polio-free world, we are thankful for our Rotary friends and the meal we are about to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Meredith. You may be seated. Enjoy your lunch. We'll reconvene. But I did want to point out to you, although you probably saw when you went through the line, we have Interact students from Muskegon High School here to paint your pinkies purple. So show your support for eradicating polio. Enjoy your food. Welcome back. I hope you had some time to enjoy each other's company. And we are going to proceed with our agenda. I'm going to be sharing my moment with you, and while I do that, will Rotarians and guests please come up to stage right and get ready to introduce your guests, and that includes our student guests as well. So my reflection today has absolutely nothing to do with economic and community development. I'm going to be sharing a Halloween treat of phobias. So all of us are born with a set of instinctive fears of falling, of the dark, of lobsters, of falling on lobsters in the dark, of speaking before a Rotary Club, and of course the words, "some assembly required." And that's from Dave Barry, a humorist. So here are some phobias. This is ichthyophobia, which is a fear of fish. And you have to say that guy looks a little scary. I'm assuming. Next is coleophobia, which is a fear of clowns, even though these guys look pretty smiley. This is globophobia, which is a fear of balloons, but I added the picture in the corner because this is my fear of bursting balloons. Next is antidiphobia. This is a fear that somewhere, somehow, a duck is watching you. This is not a real one. This is a Far Side one from Gary Larson. Although that duck was looking. Lathriophobia. This is a fear of doctors. And I think the guy in the bed looks a little concerned. We have arachnophobia. It is not a fear of a movie with John Goodman and Jeff Daniels. It is a fear of that big hairy thing in the corner, spiders. And I leave you with, I've been practicing, but this won't go well. Hippopotamonstrosity skip dalophobia, which is a fear of long words. And now we are ready to introduce our guests.
Okay, come follow me. Hi, I'm Claire Root Benson. I am the advisor for the Muskegon High School Rotary Interact Club, and I have 3 of my interactors here with us today. They are doing a Purple Pinky fundraiser for World Polio Day, if you hadn't heard that already. This is Zuri Lebrenz, our club president, Victoria Guerrero, our club treasurer, and Cora McGinn, our club secretary.
Welcome. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Aslan Scott, and if you'll come over this way.
Yes.
This is my dear friend, Marianne Darnell. Many of you may have already met her. She's a very ardent supporter of our community. Right now, she's got her hands busy all over the place, but her main things, or focus, I should say, are on veterans and also senior citizens within the community. Marianne lives in Muskegon Heights. She's on the Board of Education for the high school, or for the school in Muskegon Heights. And also, she is the chair of the Black Women's Political Caucus. And I should say, most importantly, she's my long-term friend, more like a family member. We go back about 50 years, although we don't look it.
No, you were babies.
Right.
Welcome.
Good afternoon. We good? Good.
Technical difficulty.
Try this. Wow.
Whoa, that was...
This one works. I told you to hold it close, not that close. Good afternoon, Rotary. Please join me in welcoming the Fruitport Trojans. All right, to introduce 2 of their students is Jen Finnerty. She is one of the guidance counselors at the school.
Thank you. Yes, I am Jen Finnerty, a counselor at Fruitport High School and an alumni from Fruitport High School. We have 2 awesome students that I'm going to introduce to you today and have them speak to you a little bit about themselves. We're going to put a little plug in for our soccer team. If you didn't know, we play in the regional finals tonight at Cedar Springs against Grand Rapids Christian. So cheer our Trojans on. Okay, so we have Alex Wilbur. He's going to be speaking to you a little bit about himself, and Brantley Mellum. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. I am Alex Wilbur from Fruitport High School. I'm a senior, and I'm looking to get into business or real estate. And right now I've applied to Northwood and GVSU, and I got accepted into both, and I'm still deciding on which one I want to go to.
Hi, I'm Brantley Mellum, and I also go to Fruitport. I am a sophomore, and I apply to, or I prepare to apply to U of M.
Go Blue.
So then I can go for law and a degree in business.
Thank you. Welcome to all our guests. We're glad to have you here with us. We will have our program now, and Jonathan Wilson will introduce that program for us from the Muskegon County Housing Commission. Take it away, Jonathan.
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to introduce today's presenter. Angela Mayu is the Executive Director for the Muskegon Housing Commission. I have the pleasure of serving on her board, and I have known her for several years. She started in 2018. Prior to that, she held executive director positions at other nonprofits in the region. She lives in Ravenna. She has 2 daughters and loves animals. So, without further ado, here's Angela.
Trying to follow directions. All right. Well, thank you very much for having me here today. I appreciate this opportunity to talk about what Muskegon Housing Commission does, how we got started, and what kind of impact that we have in our community here throughout the county in Muskegon. How do I start it? Okay, thanks. The Muskegon Housing Commission, along with many, many housing commissions across the country, were started in the late 60s, early 70s. Hartford Terrace was built around 1971. Hartford Terrace is a big building across from the courthouse. We have been there since 1971. We've gone through many different changes and growths and shrinking. We're not a large housing commission, but we're a small to medium-sized housing commission. Our mission is to assist the people of the County of Muskegon to obtain and maintain quality, affordable housing and services suitable to their housing needs. The Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program assists very low-income individuals and families to choose and lease decent, safe, and affordable rental housing and to achieve and maintain stability and self-sufficiency. A lot of us learned back in college when that was, yesterday. Maslow's, tier, not having housing creates other issues. We've learned, I have worked in the homeless realm for many years, and when you don't have housing, you don't work on any other issues that you have. So there's a lot of misconceptions out there about people who are homeless, and that they have alcohol problems or that they have drug problems or mental health problems. And those are all things that you would not take care of until your initial need is met, which is housing. Back in the early 2000s, there was a big push where we decided that we didn't make people jump through any hoops to get housing. We just wanted to get them housing. And what they found from that was, instead of saying you have to be sober to get housing or you have to go to counseling to get housing, they just gave them housing, and we waited. And inevitably, within about 6 to 12 months, those people finally felt safe and secure where they were and started asking for assistance with other things. Now, we don't deal exclusively with homeless people, but we have a lot of homeless people that apply for our services because we allow that affordability and housing for them. So how do we help? There we go, sorry. How do we help people in the community? We provide a rental subsidy for our families, either through our Section 8 or our public housing program, that allows them to only pay 30% of their income towards housing. That doesn't mean just rent. Housing includes utilities, and that is included into the figure that we work with them on. So we no matter what their income is, whether it's $0 or $1,000 a month, they'll pay 30% of their income towards their rent, and then we would pick up the rest through the Section 8 program or through public housing. That makes, many of you, I'm sure, have bought a house, and one of those triggers for the lenders is that you can't pay more than 40% of your income. Some of us got knocked out of some houses when we were looking younger because we hit that 40%. It's the same thing for our folks. They can't go over that 30%, 40% at the highest. We don't let them go over that either, because then it puts the stability in danger for them to be able to keep that housing long-term. They may be able to keep it up for a couple months or 6 months, but eventually they'll fall back behind and have an issue. Muskegon Housing Commission has a couple of different programs. We have our public housing program, which that is housing owned by the Housing Commission. We have Section 8 housing choice vouchers. You'll hear those words used interchangeably. Some of you might know Section 8. Then we added housing choice vouchers. They're the same thing. And then we have project-based vouchers, and we'll go over a little bit of what each of those means. So our public housing is, Hartford Terrace used to be public housing, but now we converted that. So we're down to 6 units of public housing. We have 3 duplexes in the city of Muskegon that house families. They are just 2-bedroom houses. Most of those families, we had a couple of turnovers, but most of our families have been there most of the time that I've been here, 6 or plus years. And their income has not allowed them to earn out of there as of yet. The average family size is 3, so it's mom and dad and a child, or a mom with 2 children in most of our homes. 80% of these families have incomes of $10,000 to $15,000 a year, so we kind of figure about $1,000 a month. And that needs to pay for their housing, for their food, if they have a car, insurance, toiletries that, let's say they do get food stamps for food. Those food stamps do not cover toilet paper, cleaning products for your body or your house. So it's not as manageable as it may sound at first. The average rent for someone in public housing is $209. Our Section 8 program is quite a bit bigger. We have a fairly decent size Section 8. We have 201 vouchers available. We have 176 families that are involved in our voucher program. 39 of those are VASH vouchers, which are dedicated specifically to veterans in the area. So our veteran program, which is the VASH program, we have 39 vouchers just for them, and they are homeless. They have to be homeless veterans. We get those referrals through the VA case management program. So the VA identifies who these folks are, make sure that they qualify for the program, and then refers them to us, and then we provide them with the voucher, and they go out and find housing. Veterans are a proud group and a difficult one to help, because a lot of times they don't want to take the help. I'll give you a little story of one lady that came in. She had come in and had her voucher, and I was at the front desk, and she's like, okay, I'm done with my voucher. I have a VASH voucher, and I don't need it anymore. And I'm like, well, did you get more income, or what happened? And she said, no, I had my surgery, and so I don't need it anymore. I said, but we can still provide you this assistance just in case something else comes up. What if you have to have another surgery, or what if something happens? I tried to talk to her for 15 minutes to get her to keep that voucher, because we were still paying in a significant portion of her rent. She didn't want it. She used it for what she felt she needed it for, and she was done, and she gave it back. Bless her soul that she wanted it to go to another needy person, but we could have kept assisting her. So veterans are a hard group. The VA, obviously, they're very good at working with them, so a lot of times they can work with them to get. We are going to be applying for 10 to 20 more of those vouchers so that we can get some more veterans housed here in our area. As far as our normal housing choice voucher, the Section 8 program, which is not VASH, the average family size is 2, so I know a lot of times there's a lot of misconception out there that people are out there just having babies. They're not. Our family sizes are fairly small. The average tenant payment rent is $326. And again, they have incomes between $10,000 and $25,000. That's about 80% of our folks. That's not a lot of income, even with 3 people, when you start taking out the taxes and then you go down the whole thing. With the Section 8, I want to point out that, so they're paying $326 in rent. HUD/Muskegon Housing Commission is picking up the rest of that. So we're paying out landlords between $86,000 and $91,000 every month that goes out in rent payments. between those 176 people. Jonathan and I were talking at the table about trying to quantify more what that does economically. And the only outcome I can see is, one, those 176 families would not be able to afford that housing. So you're going to have that many more people either homeless, double or tripled up in situations that are not good for the families. And although we have a housing shortage that you heard about last week with Jake, it doesn't mean that those units would be filled, because they still need to have the income to pay for those. Right now, a one-bedroom unit is going for between $800 and $1,000 a month. Most of our folks in our programs, someone in the family has a disability. Usually it is the head of household. And right now that income's about $960. So if we were not here to support in providing some rental subsidy, it's impossible for them to pay $900 in rent, have $30 left for food, shampoo, stuff to keep the apartment clean so they don't get evicted because it's filthy. It's nearly impossible. So what you would have is an increase in homelessness and an increase in people living in dangerous situations. Our families and individuals become desperate when they don't have a place to live, and somebody may offer, you can stay with me, but it's not a safe place, but you take it because is it there or on the street? And you'll take it. And so you get put in unsafe situations for a lot of our folks. We have probably over 100 different landlords that we work with through the Section 8 program. They are able to, one, be able to assist a family that has the Section 8, and then they're guaranteed at least part of their rent every month. It comes like clockwork from us, gets direct deposited, and then they just have to worry about the rent from the tenants. We're also a liaison for those tenants in the Section 8 program with their landlords. If they don't feel that there's something got fixed, they could call us and say, you know, my sink has been leaking for a while. And we talk to them about what have they done as a tenant to do that. Did they call the landlord? How many times? Did you write it down? Kind of teach them the policies of what you need to do as a tenant to, one, be a good tenant and also follow through legally on repairs that need to be done. If there's big problems that they can't get fixed, they call us, then we'll go in and do an inspection, and then we can withhold rent until that landlord fixes it. That doesn't happen very often. Usually as soon as they know we're coming out, they get stuff fixed. But sometimes the rent will be withheld, and through the contract, they're not allowed to hold that against the tenant. They didn't have a smoke detector up. We can't pay rent unless there's a smoke detector up. There's a flood in the bathroom or in the basement, and there's sewage coming up. You have to get that taken care of. Obviously, it may not get taken care of the same day. You got to get a contractor out there and do all that. And so we can help the landlord talk through some of that when the tenants get a little frustrated or don't understand how the process goes. Let's see, our next thing is Hartford Terrace, which is the building most people are aware of in our community. We were a public housing building until last year. We closed on our property and we went RAD, which is a HUD program, and through the low-income housing tax credit. So at this point in HUD's life, they have all these giant buildings that they built back in the 60s and 70s, and it is very difficult to keep the upkeep on those. The rents that we get from there is not enough to upkeep. They also give us capital funding program money, and that has decreased every year over the last 20 years. We get less and less and less. And so that isn't enough to do capital improvements. We might be able to do one project, but then we missed another one, and so the building is hard to keep up on. So HUD wants us all to go RAD and get out of the public housing deal and turn these into vouchered buildings. So that's what we did. We went through the RAD process. We went through the Michigan State Housing Development Authority and applied for tax credits for our building. And we were lucky enough to receive those, and we got $19.4 million in tax credits. And what that does is that allows investors to buy those tax credits so they can write that off on their taxes, and we take the money and redo the building. So now we're a project-based voucher building, which means we have vouchers attached to the building, and they don't go out into the community. They're attached to that building. The Section 8 voucher program, they can go anywhere in the county and live with that. It's portable. They can go anywhere. With the vouchers that we have at the building, they stay at the building. The changes that has gotten us is some vast improvements in our building. Please, I encourage you to drive by. We're not finished yet, but we've got new windows. We've painted the outside. All of the units have been redone. The units that I'm showing you here are our ADA units, so they're wheelchair accessible. Those were our first units that we got completed. Everything that was inside before was sort of, I know they probably redid it in the 80s, but it was all tan and brown and cream and just looked old and yucky. We updated with new colors. They got stainless steel stoves and refrigerators, all new paint, all new flooring, all new electrical heating, all new lighting. So everything in their apartment from top to bottom is new. Even the fire, the fire alarm is new. And it helps to bring people's spirits up. A lot of our families at Hartford Terrace feel like this is their only choice. And I don't want them to feel like they're stuck at Hartford Terrace. I want them to feel like this is their home and they're proud to be there. And I think that by us being able to push forward and move through the RAD and the LIHTC, that this will give them much more pride in the place that they live. And I've heard it time and time again. We're about 80% through the units. We should be done by mid-November with the units. Lots more happy faces. Everybody loves their unit. They're excited to put their stuff away and invite people over to see it. We had one tenant that was like FaceTiming their family, and they're like, "Did you move?" He's like, "No, they redid my apartment." They're like, "Are you sure? That looks like a new unit." And he's like, "It is new, but it's the same one." So we're very excited to be able to do all that. Also, we got to do some of the big projects that we weren't through the capital funding program. We have big air handlers on the top of our roof. I was able to get 2 of those replaced, but I didn't have enough money to do the other 2. So we got those replaced. Our elevators got completely redone. That's been hard because we have 2 elevators and we've been down to 1 for the last 4 months. So that's been tough on the residents, but we've made through it. Excuse me. We have 161 bedroom units. 91% of our folks in there are disabled. We preference people over 55, and then we preference people who are disabled. Most of our folks have a mental health disability. It is a hard job to come in every day. We love all of our people there, but they all have different mental health issues, and they are always, there's a needy group in there. And a lot of our families have burnt bridges in their past, so a lot of our folks there don't have any family that come and visit. They don't have family to call for support. And so the staff there is, the staff and the people around them is all that they have. And so we try to be very supportive to people in that. We bring in services for our residents. We have the healthcare workers come in and meet with our residents so that they don't have to go out. Some of our folks need to get people to come in and help them work, clean their house and all that. Oh, I talk too much, don't I? And so we try to have some services come in. We have blood pressure come in. We have different services that will come in and do things with them. We also have our project-based vouchers. So like we did with Hartford Terrace, we also went with developers in the community, and we were part of the Berkshire, which is on Clay. We have 8 units in there with Section 8 vouchers. And then we teamed up with Samaritas when they built Samaritas Muskegon. And we have 8 vouchers in there, with the Muskegon Housing Commission being able to work with the developers. It gives them points for the tax credits so that they can score high enough to get the tax credits. So our assistance is a big boost for them. We have developers now beating down our doors trying to get assistance. So we hope by 2025 you'll see 2 new developments in the area in downtown Muskegon, and we'll be a part of those. We're not sure which ones we'll get. We'll find out next year which ones get funded. But we are working with at least 2 developers that are going to be building new buildings downtown. And those will be for families and seniors. There's a couple. Our goal for the future really is to continue to provide affordable housing options for our families in Muskegon County. We want to continue to have a robust Section 8 program. We want to be able to apply for new vouchers when they come out. We'll be working with DHHS in the future to work with vouchers for our foster youth who are aging out of foster care that can get a voucher to help them bridge that gap. And then also work with families at DHS who need a voucher because without that, they would lose their children. So we're working towards expanding our Section 8 program. We're going to continue to work with developers in the community to create new housing in Muskegon, and be able to shrink that gap that we have right now. The gap that we look to shrink is that 30% AMI and lower, because that's the hardest hit people. But these these buildings do much more than that. They do 30 to 80% AMI, so it's a nice mix of people. And we just hope to grow the programs we have and any new programs that HUD gives out, that we can jump on those, be a part of it, and help grow Muskegon County and grow the stability of our neighbors who are struggling every day financially, who just don't have enough funding to maintain a house on their own. I appreciate the time that you've given me, and I will open it up for questions. If you have any. Okay, thank you. I'm rusty. It's been a long time. It was okay.
This is probably more of a question of, are you associated with the Patriot House, which is a home for homeless veterans on Clinton Street?
We are not associated with them, but I do believe that they work with the VA to get referrals to them.
Hi, you said you had 201 Section 8 vouchers and 160 are currently in use. Is there a waiting list of people waiting for Section 8 vouchers, and how does that work?
I'll explain that. It's a little that's HUD math. Like if any of you watch Tic Tac, there's the man math out there, dog math out there. We have HUD math. HUD math is they've given us 201 vouchers, but rents have increased so much I don't really have the ability to go up that high. We're using the max amount that they're giving us at this point. When I first started, we had money in the reserves that we needed to eat up, and I've eaten up that. And so what we have done to open that up is people with Section 8 vouchers can port anywhere in the country. And so we've had people who have ported in from other places, and we absorb them and take on their voucher so that they're part of our community. The waiting list isn't open.
So you don't have any idea how many more people might need it?
Well, working through the continuum of care, I couldn't give you an actual number. I could make one up.
So my question was, do you have a hard time finding landlords that are willing to work with you, knowing that it's the funding, most of the rent's coming from you?
I think there's some landlords that have a negative attitude towards people on Section 8 and don't want to work with them. But we've had pretty good luck. Like I said, we have well over 100 different landlords. I also try to attend the Landlord Association in Muskegon so that they can ask me questions and figure out what we can do for them and open it up a little bit more. What we need to do in the city is to create an ordinance that allows them not to count Section 8 income. So a lot of places will create an income level that is not that they can't get into. So they'll say you have to make 3 times the rent to get into the housing. That happened a lot in Kent County when I was there, and the city of Grand Rapids made an ordinance that you can't discriminate where their income comes from. So then we could count the Section 8 as income to get them to that 3 times so they could get into the nicer places.
I'm not sure if you already mentioned it, but is there a time limit that someone can use a voucher? So for instance, maybe they've been using
No time limit. There's a financial limit.
It's, okay,
They earn out of it.
got it.
Yep, but there's no time limit for it. They can stay on it for as long as they need it.
One more question, and Amy is making her way to you.
Sounds to me like you had some challenges. What has been your biggest one since you joined the agency?
Well, I think my biggest challenge really was to get us towards the RAD and the low-income housing tax credit, to get us to move towards that, so that we can be sustainable. The other part of that would be working with all of my tenants that have mental health issues that are not accepting assistance for that, or that do just have bad days. I think that's the hardest part, is to keep everybody in the building happy when someone might have a bad day, or sometimes I call myself a middle school principal. They're all over 60, but they still act like kids. And Bob called me a jerk, and they come and tell me, and then I'm like, okay, but I don't really want to get involved in that Bob called you a jerk. Susie looked at me wrong. I'm like, it's okay. So I do a lot of that. I do a lot of middle school intervening to get everybody to get along. But it's the same. I go down to my mom's, who lives in a condo building, and it's the same thing. It's just different people, different income levels. They're all still talking about each other and knows what everybody's doing, and when their aunt came and when their brother came. So same thing, just different income levels. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for having me. Okay.
Thank you so much for your presentation today. As an expression of our thanks for your presentation, Muskegon Rotary will contribute to Hand Wash. Hand Wash is a cooperative initiative between Terra Nueva and Haiti and Champion Rotary District 6290 to provide clean water, sanitation, and hygiene in rural areas of Haiti. So you're going to be helping people even farther away than Muskegon. Thank you.
I saw some great stuff in Africa on that.
Oh, wonderful.
There, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your presentation. We are going to now celebrate some birthdays. So it's a big week this week. We are recognizing Eric Ringelberg. His birthday is October 27th. Jenny McNeil, October 28th. Randy Lindquist, October 29th. Paul Christie, October 30th. And Tim Vanderhaar, November 1st. I think it's really remarkable that you did it right in order, people. Yeah, way to go. And remember, your gift is that I don't sing, and you give us $10 for our caring connection. So thank you. We are ready for our member spotlight. This week we are focusing on Aaron Mikey.
Well, good afternoon. I'm Aaron Mikey, and I've been married to Shanna for 19 years. We have two sons. Hunter is 15, Tanner is 12. Both boys attend Mona Shore schools. I serve on the Rotary Board. I also help with fundraising for the Seaway Run, and I've assisted in the founding of our Harvest Festival fundraiser that's going to take place October 26th at the Baker College Culinary Institute of Michigan. I'm a first-generation college student, and a great example of someone who was not destined to be an academic leader or a leader at all. I was a C student at best in high school, and really had the desire to get a 4-year degree. And I believe that it changes lives, no matter if it's a bachelor's degree or just training that's going to lead you to a better life. Simply having a high school diploma does not work in today's economy. I think that the power that the colleges in our community have to change the direction of our community through providing a skilled and talented workforce is second to none. We also partner with business industry. We ensure that what we're doing here meets their needs. So we're not just putting out a product or a student or a graduate that has these superfluous skills that nobody needs. We talk with Trinity Health. We talk with manufacturers. We talk with businesses. We have advisory boards that provide us with direct feedback about our curriculum and what our students should be learning so that they can land on the job ready to work. And that is absolutely critical to what we do in higher education.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Aaron. At this time, I have the pleasure of doing an induction. I invite Cynthia Maynard to come forward, along with Doug Wood, who is her sponsor in situ. Yeah, there we go. Bob Skolnick is home recovering from some surgery, and Doug volunteered to help get Cynthia inducted to our club.
Thank you. And I am clearly feeling big shoes, actually big socks. I put my Harvest Fest socks on today so that Bob would be proud, because I've always told Bob Skolnick that I want to grow up to be just like him. But starting out with a message from Bob, which is kind of a message about how uniquely Cindy came to us. Cindy is joining us because Bob spoke from the stage at our last party in the park about Rotary's good work in our community and throughout the world. Also about the great people, you guys, involved in the club and the opportunities to meet and network with so many community leaders. After he spoke, Cindy found him in Hackley Park, and they talked about the club, and today she will become our newest member. It is important that we all talk about our club to friends and the public when the opportunity arises. The larger we are, the more we can accomplish. So that's from Bob, and thank you, Bob. I hope you're watching back home on Zoom or on the YouTube later. So Cindy has been in healthcare for over 40 years. For the last 10 years, she has been doing a home care case in North Muskegon. She spent over 21 years in a hospital where she worked on many floors and departments, including critical care. She has also worked at nursing homes, doctor's offices, and even at Walt Disney World.
No, Pleasure Island.
Different Pleasure Island?
Pleasure Island.
Pleasure Island.
The water park.
The water park, doing first aid. In her early years, Cindy also worked as a car hop at A&W. I don't know if she was on roller skates or not. As a cashier in a bookstore, and I don't know what this one is, so ask her about it, a plant grader, and even some factory work. Cindy says variety is the spice of life, and she certainly has demonstrated that in her life. She comes to Rotary with a desire to serve her community and has already joined in on the microforest. She was out there, hauling mulch and cardboard. And I saw her last when she attended the Big Read event over at Norton Shores Library. So she's getting involved. So hopefully, please welcome Cindy Maynard.
Now you get the ceremonial pitch here. So if I can take your mic, I will hand you her Rotary swag. Hang on to this till cued. Fellow Rotarians and honored guests, on behalf of the Rotary Club of Muskegon, it is my privilege to induct a new member today. Cynthia Maynard, you have been chosen for membership in the Rotary Club of Muskegon because your fellow members believe you to be a worthy representative of your profession and that you possess the qualities that will help you exemplify the true spirit of Rotary in your public, business, social, and private life. By joining the Rotary Club of Muskegon, you become part of a worldwide organization of business and professional leaders united in fellowship and dedicated to encouraging and fostering the ideal of service and high ethical standards to help create goodwill and build a more peaceful world. Because you're a member of the Rotary Club of Muskegon, you will be welcome to join the fellowship of any Rotary Club worldwide. Membership in Rotary is an honor and a privilege. With this privilege, there are obligations. The Muskegon Rotary Club asks that you attend the club meetings regularly, perform your share of club service, and use your knowledge and talents to help Muskegon Rotary carry the principles of Rotary into the daily life of our community. Do you accept these obligations of membership?
Yes.
Oh, and a very enthusiastic yes. Thank you. If you would please hand her her pin. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Muskegon, I'm pleased to ask Doug Wood, on behalf of your sponsor, Bob Skolnick, to give you this Rotary pin so your fellow Rotarians in the community will recognize you as a Rotarian. Please wear your pin with pride. We will also present you with a plaque displaying the ideals of Rotary, a copy of the four-way test, and a membership directory. Finally, I have a challenge for you. My challenge is for you to share the gift given to you by your sponsor, Bob Skolnick. I ask that you invite another person of good character and commitment to Rotary's motto of service above self to join our club within the next 6 months. By sponsoring a new member, you will share the honor of becoming a Rotarian. Do you accept this challenge?
Sure.
And we got a yes again. Thank you. Muskegon Rotarians, please rise. Cynthia Maynard, on behalf of the Rotary Club of Muskegon, I formally admit you to membership and welcome you as a member of the Rotary Club of Muskegon. Fellow Rotarians, please recognize the newest Rotarian in the world, Cynthia Maynard. Congratulations. Welcome. Thank you. Now, we don't have any Paul Harris inductions today, but it is time to kick off our Brave Rotarian contest. Take it away, Meredith.
All right, Rotarians. This is our fall kickoff of Brave Rotarians. And for Ginny, getting to know more about what the foundation and what Rotary does is definitely very important. So, Mr. Vogus, can you pull up our Wheel of Fortune for us?
Or misfortune?
All right. So here are our 20 contestants over the next few weeks. And go ahead and give us a spin, Bob. Or Mike.
That is pretty awesome.
Oh, everybody feels sorry for Rem today. And if you could pull up slide number 11, please. I'll share a little bit about how Rotary are problem solvers in the world. Together, we apply our professional experience and personal commitment to tackle our community's most persistent problems, finding new and effective ways to enhance health, stability, and prosperity across the globe. As a global network that strives to build a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change, Rotary values diversity and celebrates the contributions of all people of all backgrounds, regardless of their age, ethnicity, race, color, abilities, religion, socioeconomic status, culture, sex, sexual orientation, and gender identity. Rotary members believe that we have a shared responsibility to take action on our world's most persistent issues. Our 46,000 plus clubs work together to promote peace, fight disease, provide clean water, sanitation and hygiene, save mothers and children, support education, grow local economies, and protect the environment. So thank you for participating, Rem. And we have one more contestant that will be leaving us today. So Mr. Vogus. Oh, Jillian Pasteur. So if you would pull up slide 14 for me, Mike, that would be great. So Rotary in Action, this one is called Healing Thousands. With more than 1.4 million members worldwide, Rotary members are on the ground and ready to take action to help communities recover when disaster strikes. Rotary members and the Rotary Foundation play a unique role in disaster recovery and rebuilding efforts, working closely with our partner Shelterbox and other organizations that specialize in disaster relief. Rotary members lead projects to support every phase of a community's recovery. Providing shelter, we heard this today, is far more than just providing a tent. It's helping a community start on the right path. We've seen Rotarians who have helped people long after we have disappeared from the scene. And this is from Chris Warham, the Shelterbox Chief Executive. So thank you, Jillian, again, for your participation and support of the foundation.
Thank you very much, Meredith. I am truly jealous. A wheel and confetti, that's pretty awesome. Didn't involve poster board and cutting up paper. We have some announcements, so if you have an announcement, if you could please come up to stage right and get ready. I first would like to share with you a very gracious thank you note we received from Rich Berry and his family. Hi, Rotary friends. Thank you for the beautiful flowers you sent to our family. My wife, Teresa, fought a 3-year battle with glioblastoma, which is brain cancer, and we appreciate the prayers from our Rotary friends. Thank you very much. Love, Rich Berry and family. So we were happy to be of some help to you, Rich. Next week, we will return to the Delta, our home for the winter months, except when we're not there, which will occur occasionally. There is not a rewind meeting tonight because we want you celebrating in Harvest Fest. And I'm going to let Dave tell you more about that. And just a reminder, if you are interested in serving on the board of directors, we will be looking for 3 directors. And please see Jim Fisher or me if you are interested in considering it or just want to learn more about it. So first up is Dave.
Let's hear it, Rotarians, the last Harvest Fest announcement. Yay! Because tonight is Harvest Fest, 5 to 9, and having Aaron provide the inspirational message for his background is apropos, because we are going to be open house style at the Sim, 5 to 9 at Baker College of Muskegon. Tickets are no longer available online, but you can get them at the door. $80. Come bring your money. Raffle tickets, extra drink tickets, silent auction items, bring your cash, but there will be a credit card reader. Roger and I would like to thank all of our event team, especially Carla Flanders, for making this happen. Baker College of Muskegon, we could not do it without you. Our sponsors, and especially you, our guests. See you tonight at the Sim.
So I just wanted to make a quick announcement about next week's Rotary program. The DEI committee has been doing a lot of planning around the development of this program in conjunction with Big Reed Lakeshore. So if anybody who's involved as like a table host or a character could stand up, just so you see a little bit of the numbers of people who have been involved. And this is really just a handful, because there's another probably double this number. Thank you, guys. That will be participating next week. So I'm really excited about that. Again, I think, Nancy, you put on the tables the questions. So if you want to take those questions and do some thinking on those. Of course, if you have read the book, Jesse's big homegoing, that will be greatly helpful too, but you don't need to have read the book beforehand. The other 2 announcements I wanted to make related is, of course, Jesse will be in West Michigan on November 13th, and Maddle is chartering a bus to go from our Norton Shores branch, I believe, to Holland that night. That's November 13th. I think the bus is leaving at 6, but all of the details are on our website at maddle.org/calendar. And so the bus is already half filled, so if you're interested in taking this bus, make sure you get that your registration in soon. And then November 14th, anybody from the foundation in the room is the Community Foundation's annual gathering, and Maddle is partnering with them to bring Jerry Kraft, the other author, Newbery Award-winning author of New Kid, to that event. So hopefully you'll join us at the Frauenthal for that as well.
My notes. Nope. Thank you, Sarah. Introduce yourself. I keep forgetting to tell people.
Claire again, and I'm going to introduce Zuri Lebrenz, our club president for Muskegon High School's Interact Club, to give a couple updates on what our club's been up to. Zuri is a senior at Muskegon High School, looking to go into music therapy as a career, also a Poppin student on violin and piano. So come on up, Zuri, and tell us what we've been up to.
Hi, I'm Zuri. We are currently rechartering the Muskegon High School Club. We have served with the Day of Caring, have committed to serving at the Supper House in Muskegon Heights each month, and we are hosting a Red Cross blood drive at Muskegon High School February 21st. We also have several students going to the El Salvador trip with our district home buildings this spring. That's it.
And don't forget the Purple Pinky effort back there. They would appreciate your support. You can just give them money if you don't want a purple finger. That's okay, too. And we're ready for our raffle. Josh Silvis. There you are. $20. 649. Oh, Judy Hayner. You could get your whole hand painted, Judy. $10, 688. And is that Doug? I can't see. Congratulations, Doug Wood. And 640, $5. Congratulations to our winners. Our next week's program is, as you just heard, will be the Community Read Initiative. We will be at the Delta, and if you will now please rise, we will recite the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? We are adjourned. Go out, enjoy your week, and create some hope in the world.